Good afternoon and welcome back to another video. How are we all doing? All good, I hope. So just before I jump into today's video, I just want to take this opportunity to say, if you're new here or you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So with that all said and done, let's get into the video. So in this video I'm going to run through all the frequently asked questions, everything you need to know. Whether you're looking to buy a Sur Ron, whether you've just picked up a Sur Ron, whether you've had one for a while. So the first most frequently asked question that I get, and this is mainly from people that maybe stop me whilst I'm out riding, or friends that I speak to, family I speak to. The first question I get is, how much do they cost? So obviously I'm riding the Sur Ron Light BX, and in the UK these retail for about £4,500. I'm sure there are places that you could go if you shop around and get them a little bit cheaper, but on average about 4.5k. If you're looking to get one second hand, which I did, then you're probably looking somewhere between 3,000 to 3.5 for a decent one. Again, this is just an average. That's roughly the ballpark of what I paid for mine, so I'm sure, again, if you shop around, you're going to find cheaper deals. The next frequently asked question that I get asked, and rightly so, everyone wants to know, is how fast do these things go? So I'm going to base this on a stock performing Sur Ron. Out of the factory, these are limited to 30 to 32 mile an hour, I guess depending on rider weight and things like that, where you're riding, how you're riding. Of course, one of the biggest things about Sur Rons, whether you're researching them, got one, the first thing you do is cut that green wire. So if you don't know what I mean by cutting the green wire, where the main electrics join from the bike to the battery, you have a series of cables, and within those cables there's a little green wire that's actually looped around, and if you were to cut that green wire, you will de-restrict and unlock the Sur Ron. This will unlock the bike to 47 miles an hour. Again, this is just running on my particular bike, which apart from a couple of minor upgrades is pretty stock. Now obviously you've got two modes on a Sur Ron. You've got, as Matt Francis likes to call it, the granny mode, and then obviously you've got the sport mode. I'll be completely honest with you, I think I've used the granny mode maybe once in a video, and that was literally just to try and conserve a little bit of battery. But I can honestly say, yeah, very, very rarely use that. So if you haven't guessed by now, these things are electric. And of course the next question I get is, how long does the battery last? Now I go riding probably 2 to 3 times a week, and my average ride is about 16 to 18 miles. I always leave with 100% battery, and I normally return with around 30% left. My riding is all predominantly this sort of terrain, off-road, mud, hills, so realistically I could probably stretch it out to 20 to maybe 25 miles. I don't really like to run my battery any less than 20%. You can definitely get more miles out of this bike if needs be, and I'm sure if you were to keep a consistent speed on the throttle, you weren't harsh accelerating, harsh braking, and relatively flat ground, I'm sure you would probably reach up to maybe about 40 miles. Flip it over into granny mode, I'm probably sure you could get a lot more than that. I've seen some reviews on YouTube where they're getting up to around 60 miles. I mean, for that it's got to be pretty flat, pretty good conditions, and you'd have to be obviously in granny mode going pretty slow, but it's certainly achievable. Next question would be, now you've done your ride, you've got your 40 miles in, and now you want to get back, obviously you need to charge the battery up. So the next question I always get asked is, how long does the battery take to charge? Now, like I was saying, mine normally drops down to between 20 and 30%. So for me to go from 20-30% up to 100% normally takes on average about 2.5 hours. So if you said A completely flat battery, you're probably looking around 3 to 3.5, but I don't know many people that actually run these that flat. So you've got 2.5 hours, and that's not a joke, we are in a cost of living crisis at the moment, so how much does that cost to charge? So I actually tested this out the other day on my smart meter at home. So to charge this cost me about 32p. So my next asked question is probably not as frequent, but I do get asked it, so I thought I'd drop this in there, is how much does this thing weigh? I said in my last video that, you know, you might be looking to transport one of these in the back of a van or the back of a car or something like that, so weight is quite an important factor. So the weight for the Sur Ron Lightbee comes in at 57 kilograms. So I think that's around the sort of 100 pounds, something like that. So yeah, the clue's kind of in the name. Moving on to probably the most controversial question. Are they road legal? The simple answer for this is no. The Sur Ron Lightbee X off-road is not road legal. You can buy a road legal version, the 1LE, Sur Ron 1LE. This comes complete with everything you need to ride on the road. Indicators, headlights, so on and so forth. The next question I can hear everyone saying in the comments is, okay, so it's not road legal, you're not allowed to ride it in a public place, you can only ride these things on private property with the permission of the landowner. So what happens if you do get caught riding the off-road version and not the road legal version? My honest answer to this is I have no idea. Everybody's going to jump in the comments now and turn around and say you're going to get a huge fine, you're going to get points on your license, you're going to have the bike taken away from you, it's going to be crushed. I have had several encounters with police on this bike, some on film, so you can go back and watch those, others when I've just been out on, you know, rides for myself and not with the camera, and I have never had an issue with the police. I would strongly argue that if anyone comments on this video saying all the negative things and all the bad things that are going to happen to you if you get caught, I could almost guarantee that they do not own a Sur Ron, and this is just what they think or what society has told them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying take these things and go and drive them on the streets and on pavements and terrorise people and all the rest of it. I ride this bike in places where the public aren't going to be, private land where I do have permission of the owner, but on occasion, yes, I have ridden this thing on a road or a pavement. I have ridden both of those places in front of police, and hold on a minute, touch wood, I've never had an issue. I'm not saying go out there, do what you want on one of these and you're going to be absolutely fine, because you may not. I have no idea. The next frequently asked question, again not one of the most popular, but I do still get asked it, is about the maintenance on the bike. I did run through this on my last video a little bit on the reasons why you should buy a Sur Ron, but the maintenance is very minimal. Apart from greasing a chain, keeping it clean, keeping the tyre pressure right and the forks and keeping everything in a good condition, bearings and bleeding brakes. Sounds like quite a lot, but it's really not. These bikes are pretty low maintenance. Next question is one I get quite a bit through Instagram, and it's people that don't have any experience. Oh, it's getting dark. No experience with bikes. So riding them, maintaining them, things like that. So, you know, is the Sur Ron going to be too powerful? Is it going to be too big, too small? This is another thing as well. I think I had a good chat with a guy last week actually, who and he was basically saying that, you know, he's quite tall. I think he was 6'2", and he was saying, you know, like he's had a go on a friend's Talaria, he's looking at the Sur Ron, how does it compare? And yeah, my honest answer is it's a pretty small bike, so probably great for beginners, You know, they're not big motocross bikes where you're not going to be able to touch the floor or anything like that. So it's a really good bike for a beginner. And then you've also got the option of raising the bike up a little bit, bigger wheels, obviously the seat riser kit, which I've put onto this, which is a really handy mod and one that I absolutely love. You've also then got the riser bars on the front as well, so that's obviously going to make it for the taller rider a lot more comfortable. But yeah, the main question is the ability of the rider. So I would honestly say, taking me for an example, I have never owned a motorbike or you know, any sort of bike like this. I've had a quad bike. Obviously quad bikes are a little bit easier, you've got 4 wheels, you're a little bit more stable, so you don't quite need that balance. But I jumped onto this and yeah, instantly found it a very easy bike to ride. And then obviously you've got modifications to them as well, so not only are they great for the beginners, they're still going to be super fast, but yeah, you've got the options for modifying it to make it even faster, even torquier, which is then going to put you probably up into the category of like an intermediate rider. And obviously then you've got all the way and pushing the mods to the absolute extremes where you've got pro riders. You only have to YouTube, you will see people, especially the guys in America, that are just unbelievable on these things. The jumps are just insane. So I would kind of say they fit the whole bill really, beginning, intermediate and advanced. I would pretty much say that is most of the frequently asked questions that I get. I'm hoping you can still see it on camera because the sun has gone down pretty quick tonight, so it's getting dark very fast. So I guess the absolute final question, once you know everything there is to know about these bikes, is where do I get one? I can't answer for everyone because I don't know where you are in the world, but in the UK you've got a couple of really decent main dealers. Obviously I'm on the south coast and we've got a really fantastic shop nearby, Sur Ron South. These guys will deliver, and obviously they've got a small showroom as well based down in Chichester, which you can go down, try the bikes, have a look at the different models. They also sell spares for the Sur Ron as well, so if you're looking to modify it at all, they can help you out with that. I've bought quite a few of my parts from them. Or if you're not looking to get one of these brand new, then second hand. I've got to admit, I keep my eye in on some of the Facebook pages and who's selling what and for how much. And I've got to say, now that the new Sur Rons have come out, the Storm B and the Ultra B, you can get some really, really good second-hand deals on these. So that's probably going to end today's video. I'm hoping that's answered a couple of questions for people. I know you can Google it, but sometimes it's just good to get an opinion of someone who's actually riding one, who's actually owned one for some time. And having said that, if there's anything I've missed and you do have any questions, by all means stick them in the comments or drop me a message on Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said before, if you haven't subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Videos dropping every week. Also, if you'd give this video a thumbs up, massively lost. It really helps the channel out and it really helps me understand the sorts of videos that you guys like watching, and it just inspires me to get out and make content. But yeah, cheers guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.